Hello again, everyone, and thanks for joining me on this 10th episode of X-Wing Miniatures Theorycrafting with yours truly, Genghis John. This video will investigate the third of the new releases, the LAAT Gunship for the New Republic. To some degree, it wants to be a support ship. To another degree, it wants to be an ordnance shooter. Can it be both? That's what we'll discuss right now. One word to describe the LAAT is heavy. Heavy modifications with 2 crew, 2 gunner, 2 missiles, and a modification. Heavy dial with only 2 blue maneuvers and 4 red. Heavy stats with 10 health and only 1 agility. And heavy price at 51 points for a generic pilot, meaning that you can only fit max 3 of them together in a list. It also comes with a bow tie turret arc and the focus, target lock, turret rotate, reinforce, and reload actions, and 2 recoverable charges for its fire convergence ability, which reads, while a friendly ship performs a non-turret attack, if the defender is in your turret arc, you may spend 1 charge token. If you do, the attacker may reroll up to 2 results. So the ship ability, the LAAT, feels like an ordnance shooter, since it works on missiles like barrage rockets and gives the ship a double modded 3 dice shot. Each LAAT has a nice built-in Captain Jonas ability that works as long as you aren't shooting from a turret, and you get 2 charges for it. Seems almost criminal. But when you look at the 2 crew and gunner slots, it is tempting and ultimately better to use this ship as a support piece. Indeed, in the Star Wars universe, it is used primarily as a troop transport, though we see its incredible weapons loadout doing serious damage to CIS forces. When thinking about how to deploy the LAAT in your squad, there are a few upgrades that I would put at a near required status, but it sort of depends on whether you're looking for a big gun or a support ship. Keeping fire convergence in mind, the most efficient missile upgrade seems to be barrage rockets. This upgrade gives you access to a 3 dice shot at any range that is double modded, and you can mod other squad mates' shots after your own. Unlike with some other ship abilities, never be shy about spending these fire convergence charges. Another upgrade that will probably appear in most LAAT lists is Wolfpack, taking up a crew and gunner slot at 4 points. This is an efficient way to get a ship in your squad a target lock to shoot off ordnance that requires a lock to fire, like a cluster missile or, God forbid, multi-missile tubes. Even though your LAAT doesn't necessarily need a lock to fire, someone else in your squad would probably like to have one, and this way you can get a lock during the combat phase, which is always appreciated. In an ordnance-based squad, the LAAT is probably going to be the first target, so needs to be able to share its target lock with other friendlies. That's where synchronized console comes in handy, used en masse in your squad. Synced console is a really nice pairing with fire convergence, since you can spend charges to reroll dice instead of your lock, saving it to pass on to the next one and get more 3 dice shots off. Ghost Company will probably also see play on a LAAT, though it is a non-bow with fire convergence and generally just not as strong, I think. If instead the LAAT is there to support aces, you want to go the route of Jedi crew, of which the Republic gets several in this latest expansion, starting with the cheapest at 9 points, Kit Fisto, who adds a purple evade action or gives a nearby friendly a red evade at start of combat. Red evade might be okay on either sprites, but the range 0 to 1 restriction really hurts, so Master Fisto feels kinda underwhelming. Plo Koon at 10 points adds a purple reinforce, a strong action choice considering the LAAT's 1 agility and 10 health bulk. The actual ability builds on this action. At the start of the end phase, if you are reinforced, you may choose 1 friendly ship at range 0 or in your portside or starboard arcs at range 1. That ship removes 1 deplete or strain token, or repairs 1 face-up damage card. Plo allows the ship to take reduced damage with the reinforce and then repair damage it actually suffered, or repair a friendly ship. Strong. Plo pairs really nicely with 5's crew, which reads, after you perform an attack that missed, if the defender's initiative is equal or greater than your initiative, place 1 evade or focus token on this card. Before you engage, you may remove 1 token from this card to gain 1 matching token. So your LAAT can miss an initial attack, build up a focus token, and then have double tokens for the next turn, a reinforce, and a focus you can use to launch barrage rockets if you want, or simply modify a turret attack. Then there's the gunner Ahsoka Tano at 12 points with a quasi-coordinate red focus to a ship at range 1 to 3. Ahsoka doesn't eat into the carrier's own actions, which is nice, and getting a focus token when you might not otherwise get anything is pretty nice. An ideal pairing seems to be Obi-Wan in the Aether Sprite, who definitely wants to have a focus token and can clear the stress with an abundance of blue maneuvers. The options keep getting better and also more expensive. Chancellor Palpatine coming in at 14 points is not a new card, but the LAAT is probably a better carrier for this crew. Personally, I think Darth Sidious is a more powerful card. Coordinated Jedi Ace reposition action, give it a focus or recover a force, and on activation, clear their stress token with 1 of plenty blue maneuvers. Considering the LAAT is meant to be a support ship, the coordinate action is notably missing from its action bar. Palpatine is a strong card that just needed the right carrier to take it into combat. Speaking of coordinates, Yoda also grants a purple coordinate with 2 force charges, so you don't feel as bad about leaving your support ship unmodded. The ability is a bit irrelevant right now since there is not a currently released ship that performs a purple maneuver, and purple actions are not all that common. If all you're looking for is a basic coordinate carrier and have 1 more point to spare, I would certainly recommend Yoda over Palpatine. The extra force charge is absolutely worth the 15-point cost. Aayla Secura is the best one yet for 16 points, offering a linked focus into purple coordinate, which is just incredible, and a pretty decent defensive ability on top of that works really well with Jedi wingmates. Say goodbye to your bid for Jedi Aces, but with the 2-for-1 action and added ability, it definitely seems worth it. So, there are a lot of options you have to support your squad, depending on whether your list is Basic Swarm, Ordnance, or Aces based, will largely determine which of these options is right for your list. Now we can look at the 4 pilots and build some lists featuring each one of them. The generic Initiative 2 212th Battalion pilot might be the best coordinate carrier since the abilities of the other 3 don't necessarily jive with ships you would want to bother coordinating. I've got several different looks at what a list might look like. The first is Aayla Secura paired with Y-Wing Anakin and Obi-Wan. Ayla's linked action combo allows it to have a focus to shoot barrage rockets and gives a clutch target lock or arc rotate to Anakin or reposition to Obi-Wan. Between barrage rockets, proton torpedoes, and CLT, this list brings enough firepower to deal with a lot of lists, but is also survivable from both a health and agility sense. The next version features Palpatine with Obi-Annie Aether sprites. Darth Sidious and Obi-Wan seems like a really good pairing, and being able to regen a force supply for 2 3-force ships is also a really good ability. The stress from Sidious simply doesn't matter with the Aether Sprite's 10 blue maneuvers once paired with R4 Astromech. Version 3 is an attempt to cram in as many Jedi as possible. You've got your dynamic duo of Anakin and Obi-Wan once again, who are bolstered by Kit Fisto's red evade action to mitigate those blanks that always show up on your green dice. Plo makes sure the LAAT is around long enough to give the Jedi the evades they need to dwindle the enemy to a manageable force. Hound has a situationally good ability and is only a point more expensive than the generic at 52 points. There isn't a lot out there that deals strain or deplete, but as more mechanics are introduced to the game, this ability will become stronger. It is worth seeing how any ship in the game looks when spammed in a list. I think many players find the idea of 3 LAATs in a list appealing, but I don't think it will prove to be competitive. Stable barrage rockets to each one so they can have double modded 3 dice shots each. Plo can help mitigate damage to the squad, while 5s and Commander Cody make an epic combo for missing an attack. In this list, you get 30 health, but it is susceptible to getting boxed in and ate up from the flanks or rear. It can be difficult to maneuver 3 medium-based ships that need to stay in formation for the abilities to synergize. Arguably, the best LAAT pilot is going to be Warthog, who thwarts death, for a time at least. After you or a friendly non-limited ship at range 0 to 2 are destroyed during the engagement phase, that ship is not removed until the end of that phase. This pilot has led to the creation of what is known as a zombie swarm, a list featuring a bunch of low initiative ships that refuse to be initiative killed by better pilots. A typical zombie swarm has 5 Gold Squadron turrets. Usually the idea is to fit as many additional ships in as possible. Hull upgrade and make sure the #1 target priority of your list survives around more than it should. Between Fire Convergence and Wolfpack, you should get 3 ships with double attack mods. Agile Gunner can help keep arc on an enemy, necessary for triggering Fire Convergence. Personally, I like my swarm lists to have greater individual firepower instead of relying on raw numbers. So, we cut the ship number down from 6 to 5, but everyone is throwing double modded 3 dice attacks. Warthog is likely the first target, so Wolfpack gives him the target lock it can pass to all of the others with synced console. Basically, you need to use the Fire Convergence rerolls on your first 2 ordnance shots to preserve the target lock for as long as possible. If you fly this list right, you should have no problem taking out the opponent's most dangerous ship, whatever that may be. It will get eaten up by true swarms or the Warthog mirror match, where numbers are more important than initiative. The 4th and final LAAT pilot, Hawk, has kind of a cool ability, but there are limited applications for its use. Hawk reads at the start of the end phase. Each friendly ship at range 0 to 1 that has a revealed maneuver of speed 3 to 5 may gain 1 strain token to perform a boost or barrel roll action. A non-red reposition action is intriguing, but the range 0 to 1 limitation really hurts, because this ability wants to help ships go fast, which the LAAT doesn't necessarily do. The best use of this ability, in my opinion, is with a swarm where as many ships as possible can use the ability to close on the enemy position. With Hawk's ability working on ships that go fast, it makes sense to pair him with some Naboo starfighters. Spam 4 of them and they can all have focus evade and be at range 1 every engagement. If you want greater numbers, then switch the Bravo Squadron pilots to Gold Squadron Torrents, though be aware of your red 3-bank maneuvers, which would prevent you from a reposition. Or if you want to be really cheeky, you could help low initiative ordnance carriers like Y-Wings better manage distance. After being at range 4 during engagement, you can boost them all in the end phase, so next movement they can get their target locks to shoot powerful torpedoes when the 2 sides actually engage each other. I don't feel that any of these options are really that strong, though the Bravo Hawk list probably has the best chance. So that's the LAAT, and that's a wrap on this 10th episode of X-Wing Theory Crafting. Thanks to those of you who have watched all the videos and kept up with this series. I really appreciate it, and Idea Squad appreciates you. Try out some of these lists, let me know how they fly. I'd also appreciate any feedback on the video. I've had a lot of fun creating these videos, especially this latest one, and I'm looking forward to having you watch the next masterpiece. Until then, this is Genghis John signing off. Toodles.